welcome to the family with
Officer Dave.
Tevin Pittman.
And Andy Rampernard.
I have to dig our guest information out of the trash. Thanks a lot. What happened there? How come they didn't? Why weren't they there before?
There was some confusion on my end with communicating with Art as far as what time that both of them were going to be on.
So basically, it was a fumble on your part.
Yep, I'll take full responsibility for that.
That's just great.
I love it, Devin. Shoulder up, buck up to it.
Nobody else's fault but my own.
Remember what the skipper said on the very famous McHale's Navy? Tevin, I could just scream. McHale, I could just scream. Remember when he used to say that to him all the time? It was a phenomenal show. But yeah, good. I'm glad you got a hold of them because Taste of Love, the film, premieres on Hallmark Channel on next Monday, February 19th. It's at 8 p.m. We have Susan Gallagher and Martin Cove coming on in just a couple of minutes. Whenever they're ready to go, we can get that taken care of.
Perfect.
Josh Arnold, of course, will be with us. He's on the road as we speak, so he'll be calling in too, which is a good thing. So anything new, Officer Dave? What's the latest?
Hamm show this weekend, baby. Medina Ballroom.
Hamm's, like the beer.
Like Hamm's the beer, yep.
A Hamm's beer
They have
show?
a show?
Yep. Literally memorabilia, signs.
Oh, like a museum kind of thing.
Well, kind of. Big swap meet.
You got like Comic-Con except for Hamm's beer.
Except for Hamm's beer. You got it.
Do you guys remember Hamm's the beer refreshing? Hamm's. Yep.
Got it.
It's a great jingle. Wasn't it? It was a bear, the Hamm's bear, right?
Yes, sir.
The
But
Hamm's
then
bear
you
came out.
might get kids to drink beer, so that wouldn't be bad. So
Well, I tell you what, though. It was either Hamm's or Grain Belt. They're going to drink one or the other.
Exactly.
That's just a fact. And then Pfeiffer came along because that was like $3 a case.
Yep. There was a guy though. I'll tell you, Tom. When I was a young man, he would buy red, white, and blue Pfeiffers, all that stuff. But he kept his refrigerator at about 33 degrees. Oh, that stuff was good.
Oh yeah. I got to be honest with you. I haven't had many bad beers in my life. I used to love beer.
Yep.
I suppose there are some bad beers that have too much sugar in them or too much something.
When you have to start putting fruit and stuff, flavors into beer, I'm out. Just give me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Straight ahead beer. Coors, I remember used to have to drive to like Colorado to buy it.
Yep. When they first started out. Yep.
Yeah, you did. Or all those things, all those very famous deals going on with beer in America. I don't know. Beer is kind of just, and I know it was probably invented in Western Europe or something. The Germans or somebody. Who invented beer? Does anybody know?
I think it was a monk, actually.
It was a monk.
Yeah, a monk in like England in the 10th century or something like that.
Doesn't
A very long time ago.
It does not surprise me that they've come up with booze at the old. Well, look, if you're never getting any action in the sack, of course you're going to drink a lot of beer, right?
One or the other, right?
Oh wait, never mind. The Sumerians weren't thought to have invented beer.
Sumerians?
That would be 8,000 BC.
8,000 BC, really?
So I don't know what I was thinking of.
God.
There's like a monk invented something. Maybe it was like whiskey. Who knows?
Alcoholism.
But yeah, no. Fermented grain beverages are older than history.
Older than history. So there's Josh Arnold popping in with us.
There you are.
What's happening? Oh, he's got his red shirt on today. He's fired up and ready to go, ladies and
We
gentlemen.
are fired up. We've got Tiger Red on.
So I've never asked a Jew this personally on the show, but do you drink a lot of alcohol?
No.
There you go. Right. There's your answer right there. I've known, I think, maybe two nice Jewish boys that would even drink at all when all of us got together. But yeah, Jews in my life have never been big drinkers. That's pretty much true.
Although my kids like to drink, and the bar bill at my daughter's wedding was equal to the food bill.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
Now,
because
I'm not sure whether that's attributable to the Jews who were there, the Irish Catholics who were
That
there
I
from
get.
her husband's side,
Yep.
or it was just an age thing.
Well, what was the food that was served? Because that makes a difference. If you were serving like ham sandwiches, then that's
McDonald's.
lower. Or if it
No,
was like
we're not talking.
$80 a plate.
Kevin, you can ask Tom. I'm not big into ham sandwiches. This is not the wedding at the fire hall. This is a very nice wedding. We had 3
Mhm.
choices. We had steak, sea bass,
Okay.
or chicken.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, so that means
And we
the
were
tab was high.
and the appetizers included lobster bites.
Look at you. So yeah, that means that,
And
then they
there
really did
and
a
and dessert. Who wanted a wedding cake? I said we're going to have a chocolate chip cheesecake with a brownie crust.
Ooh.
Oh my God, that sounds good. You just brought back this magnificent memory to me as a little boy because I asked a friend of mine's grandfather, "Sir, do you ever drink alcohol?" And his response was, "Goyish anachas, Gentile pleasures, Goyish anachas." I remember that as a little boy, man. I thought it was wonderful. You know what I mean? I learned how to speak Yiddish starting
Well,
that day.
you grew up in a very interesting neighborhood.
I did. My God. I seriously, and I'm telling you again, all this bullshit they throw at you from both of these parties. My neighborhood was basically Catholic white people, black people, and Jews. And I don't remember any of us ever screaming in the streets about how much we hated one another. Everybody
No.
got along.
Everybody was in the same boat pretty much in your
Well,
neighborhood.
that's pretty much true. Yeah. So I just, like I said, I was so lucky to learn so many things about so many different cultures growing up in that neighborhood. I thought I was the luckiest guy in the world. Poorest damn, I would say poorest damn area in the 5-state area, I would imagine. But we loved it. I had a great time, as a matter of fact. Look at all I learned.
Yeah. Well, we'll call it all the hate and divisiveness only adds to somebody's ability to go out and get votes and get in power. And then
Yep.
to stay in power, they have to maintain that divisiveness and hate for the other.
Yeah, that's pretty much the whole deal, isn't it? But what are you going to do? So Josh and I had a nice phone conversation yesterday talking about investments, things like that. I talk to Josh about that quite often. How can people reach out to you again? Because I've had some people ask me how to get a hold of you.
Well, they pick up the phone because I'm an old guy. I like to talk to people.
I know.
I'm an
That's what I'm-
old guy.
Oop.
We
And-
talk to people face to face. We don't. I'm not big on email or text messaging, although I do that. They can call me at 952-925-5608.
Sounds good. Tevin, you had something?
Oh, I was gonna say we got Susan on the line for you guys.
Susan, how you doing?
Marty too.
Hey, Martin.
Hi,
Yes.
we have Susan and Marty.
Oh, Martin, you're with us too. Great. Martin, it's been a while since I talked to you. It's great having you on again.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing extremely well, and the taste of love of pigeonholed chef Erin Cahill, frustrated by her current circumstances and determined to make her name for herself, returns to her small town in Florida to find that her parents, played by Susan and Martin, are selling the family restaurant and want to retire. What are you two doing to your child?
Well, we're trying to retire and do a little traveling and have some fun.
Well, I suppose I can understand that, but here's what I also don't understand. Now, Martin, I've been a big fan of yours forever. You know that. I've talked to you many, many times before. But Susan, isn't it kind of tough for you to play the mother of a woman that's the same age you are?
Ha ha ha. Yeah, no. I am honored to play Erin Cahill's mom, and she is as beautiful on the inside as she is on the outside.
That is wonderful to hear.
And I love being Marty's wife. Yeah, his TV wife.
Why wouldn't you? Absolutely. He's an excellent individual. By the way, it's called A Taste of Love. The film premieres on the Hallmark Channel next Monday, February 19th. is at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Is that correct? Or is it Central time?
That is correct.
It is Eastern time. Okay, so 7 o'clock Central
Yes.
for the people in Minneapolis. This is the kind of, well, first of all, Susan, I've talked to Martin about this before. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Cobra Kai and the rest. You did such a great job with that, Martin. Coming back from, well, I don't want to tip anybody off, but somebody or something along the lines comes back from the dead, kind of, which I liked. I got to be honest with you. I thought it was terrific.
You mean the initial character coming back from the dead at the
Yes.
beginning of the season? Yeah, I mean everybody thought he was dead, and somehow that was spread out, and then he comes in to episode 10, season 1. The real story has only just begun.
No question.
And yeah, it was precious, and they set that up so that it would be a real hook into the second season, and people would tune in because they couldn't believe I was now going to participate in Johnny Lawrence's life. But it's all good writing. It's all terrific writing, and that's why the show is so popular. And now we're shooting season 6 right now, and it's very exciting. But the real characters, I love doing this vulnerable character and working with Susan and my son.
Sure.
This movie of the week is a real terrific little piece.
I got to be honest with you. Movies of the week have been a big hit in my house for a long, long time. I know that a lot of people, it kind of makes me sad to tell you the truth, that not a lot of people go to movie theaters anymore. Uh-oh. Was that your plane flying over right there, Susan?
Yes, that was. Yeah, he's
Yeah, we're in the plane now. We're piloting the plane and
Okay.
we're landing. That's what you just heard.
yeah, homeless Lynn is piloting the plane.
That's that's a magnificent
He only
idea.
flies charter.
Honest to God, it's a magnificent idea, no question about that. I do like a lot, A Taste of Love. It's basically about family, is it not? I mean, I love movies about family. My family's very, very important to me, and I won't get into the reasons why. Childhood things that now I've been married to the same woman. It'll be 40 years in July. We have 2 kids. Andy's on the show with us, as a matter of fact. Our daughter on during the week. Stories about family, I love them. People, do Americans still love stories about families like this? I would imagine.
I think so too, and it's so special because Jessica, Martin's son, is the male lead. So not only was the story about a loving family, but we had real family working together.
Don't you?
It's always a gas to do something with family because I personally think that in my business, the last director and producer and publicist you work for are not going to show up on your deathbed.
Yeah.
It's family, and to me that it's become more and more important to me as the years have progressed in my career. I'm in this business a long time, and at the beginning, the career was the most important thing, and family was secondary. Now, this movie reflects all the true values that I have. That family is the most important, and being a grandfather, is a joke. Me being a grandfather, but it is such a pleasure to have a little grandson, and it's great working with my son, and it just adds another element to the creative process.
And I think it's a good example for Americans because right now I tend to be pretty centrist in my views. So I don't hate the right and I don't hate the left. I really wish they would present a better picture for young people that maybe having a great family life together, no matter how your family's structured and all the rest of it, that maybe life isn't as bad as people like to make it in the political arena. I think movies like this really do help people out that, hey, from day one, when I met Catherine, I wanted to have a family. We did. Andy, like I said, our son was born first. He's on the show right now today. Alex born a couple of years later. Nothing means more to me than family. That's why I was so interested in A Taste of Love. This is very, very, I think it's very important, don't you?
Well, there's no question about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think the vulnerability of the character would have come out if there wasn't a closeness on the set with all the people. We created that family because my son's playing the lead. Aaron is so open. Susan is so open, and the producer who brought us all on is very much an everyman. And, I'm in the midst of creating The Prodigal Son, a comic book about a 12-year-old kid and an ancient gunfighter who's a monster, and how they bond together as family and share moral fiber off of each other. And my primary motivation was that I don't think kids have heroes these days.
Yeah, good point.
I don't think kids have heroes. And Marvel comic books is not heroes. It's all special effects. I don't think they have the John Wayne or the Clint Eastwoods or the Cary Grants or any of those heroes we had growing up, And I want to leave that as a legacy. So it's funny you mentioned family being so important. It's really, and working with Susan and working with Aaron and working with my son, the family dynamic created really a good performance for all of us individually as well as a family.
See, I think that's wonderful news, Martin. I really like that take on that. The only problem I do have with family, the one problem I do have with family is that Andy and Alex's mother, Catherine, my wife, Catherine, I'm their father also. But the fact that people love to mention to me the fact that Catherine's far too good for me really gets kind of old, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, congratulations on almost 40 years. That's amazing.
40 years.
40
that
years.
Doesn't exist in Hollywood. 40 years. There's nobody who's married 40 years in Hollywood. You could move there and you would be an icon.
Maybe that's what I should do. Now, as a matter of fact, I spend a lot of time in Florida, and I noticed that your movie takes place in Florida, correct? Is there a specific town, or did you just make one up?
Oh, yeah. It was in the charming town of Dunedin, Florida, which is outside of Clearwater. It's adorable waterside community, and the entire city, the mayor, all the residents, the restaurants, everybody got involved and was so supportive. We just loved every minute of it.
It is terrific.
We were there last week for a film festival, the Dunedin Film Festival, and we stayed in the same hotel we stayed at during the making of the movie, the Fenway, and we just had a ball. I mean, they gave me the key to the city, the mayor, and it was a lot of fun, but the people were great. And I think I did a Western there in December in Florida, in Parrish, Florida. And I think we've got to push for more movies to be made in Florida. We've got to improve their rebate system because it's a great state. I just love it, and I live in Nashville, and I've got a ranch in Nashville, and I'd love to have a ranch near the water because I miss the beach and I miss the water, coming from LA and New York,
No, it makes total sense. Is it true, because I've heard this, but I've never checked up on it, that Hollywood, Florida was the original idea for Hollywood, people coming down by train from New York and Philadelphia and Boston, coming to Florida, but then all of a sudden California, the Hollywood in California got more attractive, or the area, because originally wasn't Florida supposed to be the home of movie making many, many years ago?
Well, it used to be called Hollywood East. And with me, having lived and worked in Florida for over 30 years, we thought that it was coming. And then it just didn't, not like we expected it to. I mean, we used to have a lot of commercials because we have the theme parks, but a lot of those are now non-union. So I was really grateful to be on A Taste of Love and be able to work in Florida, because I hadn't worked in Florida probably since Bloodline, which shot in the Keys.
God, that's amazing. I know you guys got to get going here, but I wanted to...
Originally, in the silent film era, a bit of trivia for you, is that they wanted to make films all year round.
Yes.
And they went to Albuquerque, and they were told that New Mexico was the place. This goes back to the teens, and it rained. It just happened to rain for a couple of days straight in Albuquerque. And then someone said, there's this place called Los Angeles. and let's just go up there. So the whole company of people went there, and the weather was so perfect. That's how Hollywood actually got to be the capital back in the early days, in 1910, 1908, of making movies, because they could make it 12 months a year, and the weather is appropriate.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, I tell you what, keep things going. Susan Gallagher and Martin Cove with us, ladies and gentlemen. A Taste of Love. The film premieres on the Hallmark Channel on Monday, February 19th. And I'm very serious about this. I'm not just, trying to push a message here. I think this kind of story is very, very important because everyone right now in the world, and certainly in the United States, is at each other's throats, and there's a lot of hatred. And I think we need to show people what love is all about, and this movie certainly fits that bill. I think you're doing very important work, and thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and honestly, I'm in agreement with you, and I make a lot of those angry, violent movies,
Yeah.
and I'd rather play in these kind of movies than those, because they're about the positive parts of our world.
Mm-hmm.
And socialistically, we do need some assistance right now.
No doubt. We need happier messages. So I'm assuming that your characters, Susan and Martin, get along and love one another. Is that true?
Oh yeah, I mean, I love Susan now. So,
There you go.
I mean, I'm sitting next to this gorgeous woman, and she's just delicious. And we play it, we play it in the movie, and we have a good time, and it's all very charming. And there's nothing negative about this. Even the conflicts in the movie are productive conflicts, and they go someplace that's meaningful, and the relationships do as well. So it's a good little picture. I hope everybody watches it and enjoys it.
We definitely will. It's a great message, and thank you so much for that. Next time, you guys are going to have to come into studio. It's too much fun having you on the phone. It's a lot of fun, but you got to come in the studio someday. I'd love to have you.
Where are you? Where are you located?
Right now, just outside of Palm Beach.
Okay, that's a great place to be.
You're in Florida?
Yeah, I spend some time I actually travel around a lot, but I spend a lot of time in Florida and a lot of time in Minnesota.
Well, Susan will take our plane down, and homeless Lynn flies the 737, and we converted it to a private plane, and and we'll land there. Palm Beach is not that far. I've been there many times. Florida is my favorite state. I used to think Colorado was my favorite state, but now Florida has become my favorite state.
I understand it completely, and I will tell you
Especially
something.
in the winter.
Yeah, especially in the winter. But when you come down, there's a new restaurant open down here in Indian Town, on Indian Town Road, called Tavolina. We'll go have some Italian food and laugh it up. It'll be a great time.
That'd be great. I've got a home in Jupiter. My son's down there, and my little grandson. So I'm there quite often in the winter.
All right. Well,
try to get Marty down there.
Yeah, Marty, you got to come down. Martin Cove's got to come down. We'll have a ball. We'll have a little Italian food. Well, it'll be great. Thank you so much, by the way, for adjusting your schedule, because I really, really enjoyed talking to both of you, Susan Gallagher and Martin Cove. Big fan in any case, but A Taste of Love is next Monday, February 19th at 8 p.m. Come back soon, both of you. I love talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Take care of yourself.
You too. Bye. Well, a couple of nice people. Now, see, that's what Hollywood kind of used to be about. It was a voice of, the good people and all the rest of it. I mean, Martin can put up an edge. There's no doubt about that. You watch him on Cobra Kai, he can get an edge to him. But I just love converting. I really am serious about that. I think that Hollywood has a responsibility to step up, because people right now, because of our political system and the money that's involved, people just hate one another right now for no reason. You think differently than I do, so therefore I hate you. It's like, what? Calm down, for Christ's sake. You got a husband, you got a wife, you got sons, you got daughters, you got somebody you love. Let's talk about that. Not your political bullshit views. Does anybody have a 100% perfect political view? Of course not. Settle down, damn it. Josh, you left us for a while there. What'd you get? You have to go pee?
Oh, I took him off because he was doing some sort of calisthenic workout. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting vertigo from watching him do whatever. So
Okay, I was just paying attention and just listening. The taste of love. I enjoyed listening. Martin and Susan.
Yep. Phenomenal.
They're probably on their way to their private 737 that they probably picked up at a discount from uh, from the orange hair man. He was probably dumping some aircraft.
It's probably true, no question. So how's the market looking today, Josh? I haven't checked it yet, but by the way, let me thank you again, and I'd like to talk to you again on Tuesdays. Did you and Tevin talk about a time that would work for everybody?
No, we did not talk about a time that would work for everybody, but just give a call. Kevin's got my phone number. Give a call,
Right.
and I'll be there. Hold on, that's a song.
I could
And
not
I'll
believe
be
it.
there.
I'm sitting there talking to AJ and I'm talking to Tevin, and I'm looking at the market and like, oh, why don't we get Josh on the horn? By the time Josh was off the horn, it had dropped about 500 points. It's like, whoa, what was that all about?
You got me on a good day when
Yes.
the market sold off on concerns about the consumer price index being too good. It's too hot.
Really?
Market. I'll say market prognosticators, market strategists were only looking for the CPI to be up 2.9%. It came in at 3.1%. And what very few people talk about on TV are some of the components of the consumer price index. 35% of that is housing. So, geez, if housing prices, we'll say mortgage equivalent rents, go up or stay up, that's a nice chunk of that CPI number. And housing prices and rents are trailing indicators, not leading indicators. So the CPI number is more of a trailing indicator than a leading indicator of what's going on in the economy. Here's something that probably really hit somebody's pocketbook. Your health insurance cost went
Oh,
up
God.
and went up. I think health insurance went up 20%. Now, without naming names, and because I am an employer and I sign the checks, for my employees, and I pay the full boat for their health care costs. There it is. Health care, my insurance cost went up. As a matter of fact, it initially when uh, we'll say a different type of healthcare legislation passed many years ago, my insurance cost for my employees doubled. Now, but in any case, insurance costs are up. Fixing your car went up. The cost of delivering products went up. Now, nobody bothered to say, well, geez, wages have been going up. So wages are a component in prices for goods paid. Commodity prices, on the other hand, have been coming down, and they've been coming down substantially since the peak in June of 2022. So here's this fear. Oh my goodness, inflation is going up measured by the CPI. We've got to sell everything because the Federal Reserve is not going to be cutting interest rates. Well, if you've been listening to me on this program or some of the other, we'll say, podcasts I do or radio shows that I've done, or if you're a client of mine, you would know my feeling that the Fed is not going to be cutting interest rates this year, or excuse me, this we'll say right now. They might do it in May, just to show they can do it, but the likelihood right now is the Fed is going to maintain their mantra, which they've been having now for almost 2 years, higher rates for a longer period of time until inflation gets down to their 2% target or until they break something. At the same time, with the CPI number on Tuesday going up, you had a number of strategists and economists, including an economist from Citibank, came out and said, "Oh, things are bad. Things are bad. Super Dave, things are bad. Kevin, things are bad. They're bad. Andy, things are bad. We don't want you spending money. There's going to be a recession coming in the next few months. Sell, sell, sell. Put it in the bank." Oh, that's right. We're at Citibank. Put your money at Citibank through this recession where it's going to be nice and safe. Yeah, okay. We're going to have a recession. A recession is defined as 2 straight quarters of negative GDP growth. One problem with that is we've had 6 straight quarters of positive GDP growth, and the likelihood is we're going to have another several quarters of positive GDP growth. Not to mention, of course, we're coming into an election, and the party in power wants to make sure that the economy is still strong, so they stay in power. Long-winded answer for a number of strategists with the CPI number wanted people to panic, sell stocks, and they also sold bonds, which bumped the yields up. When bond prices go down, yields go up. And if you hold a bond-oriented mutual fund, you're going to have that happen on a regular basis. Yeah, you're going to get a little bit more yield, or that's the quoted yield will be, but that's only if you add money to your bond fund because prices are down. And if interest rates start coming down, bond prices will go up. If you're holding a bond fund, however, it's not going to go up as fast as if you held an individual bond. And of course, if you're holding a bond where you're lending money to the government or a municipality or a corporation or for a mortgage, if you hold to maturity, you're going to get back your face value. Stocks move. Some of the movement in stocks takes place because of where interest rates are going. But a lot has to do with how well the company is doing, how much revenue they're generating, and how much profit they're generating, and of course what kind of industry they're in. Today, market is down a little bit. I could say it's Friday. It's Friday before a long weekend, so there are going to be a lot of traders who want to move to the sidelines over the weekend in case something negative happens someplace else in the world. But the producer price index came in, and that was a little higher than had been expected, even though the trend is more down than up. But at the same time, I've been concentrating more on earnings, and earnings have been doing overall much better than had been expected.
I got to ask you a question because something just happened yesterday to us, and I thought of you, and I thought of the market drop, and 500 points and all the rest of it. I have a 2013 Mustang. It's in Florida. It's a great car. It's worth about probably $25,000 now, something like that. It's 11-year-old car, but it's only got 32,000 miles on it. So the car's got a lot of life left in it. So I had to go in and get some new insurance on the car this year, right?
Right.
This is a $25,000 car. You have to remember that. So I go in, I get insurance. The insurance is $1,000 for every 6 months, so $2,000 a year. So 10% of the value of the car is being charged me for insurance on that car, right?
Okay.
Nearly 10%. I looked at the breakdown of why it was $1,000 every 6 months. Half of the money, in other words, if I pay $2,000 a year for the insurance, half of that money, $1,000 of that money, you know what that money goes to?
Well, you're in Florida, but go on.
Covering uninsured drivers.
There are a lot of uninsured drivers here in Florida.
I just don't understand, how am I responsible? So I'm paying $500 for me and $500 for you every 6 months. What the hell is that?
Well,
Yeah.
that's in case an uninsured driver runs into you. The insurance company figures that could happen in Florida, and you're going to want your car repaired, and they're not going to be able to collect from that other driver.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, years ago when I first started coming down to Florida, sometimes you would see all these beaters on the road, and if somebody got in a car accident or the car stopped working, whether it was, and it didn't matter where it was, could have been on the Florida Turnpike, could have been on
Right.
95,
Right.
heck, it could have been on Ocean Drive.
Right.
The people in the car would just pull it off to the side, get out of the car, walk away. Now, who would walk away from any vehicle? Well, they just walked away. I guess they thought, well, we don't have insurance on it. Not worth much. We're not going to fix it. We're just going to walk away and go someplace else. And if they happen to hit you, and they were in an accident with you, they would leave the car and walk away. So the insurance companies in Florida understand that, and you get charged so that you can repair your car, or they can repair your car.
It's so
But
amazing
no, it's
to
not
me.
fair.
I mean, because you're too irresponsible to pay your own insurance, I have to pay twice as much.
Yeah, I would just think your insurance cost was up because you're in Florida, you're living, well, you're living in an area that the water could rise.
Mm-hmm.
There could be a lot of rain or a hurricane. Your car gets flooded and has to be replaced. So that's why, and it's a good thing if you don't have an electric car. Well, I think you do have an electric car, but that's in Minnesota.
It's in Minnesota. Yeah.
But if you had an electric car and it rains, man, that's really expensive to fix.
But it does feel, the uninsured motorist part does feel kind of like a scam.
Exactly.
Because what's the difference if you hit somebody that doesn't have insurance, or you're involved in a single car crash, or they have to, like, either way, insurance is going to pay for it. Like, you shouldn't just throw on that extra tag because it's an uninsured motorist. Like, if you get in a single car accident where nobody else is involved, they still aren't able to charge somebody else's insurance for it, and your rates are going to go up.
But they'll charge you more for your premiums after your solo accident.
Oh, okay.
But the underinsured stuff, that just protects the insurance company a little bit.
Exactly.
It also covers you, because they have no one to go after to get the money. Because if it's underinsured or uninsured, which unfortunately runs into a lot up here also.
Yeah, it does.
Even though Minnesota is one of those states, you have to have liability and no fault.
Mm-hmm.
And I was still stopping people who had no insurance on their vehicles whatsoever.
God.
All the time. It's crazy, but I'd rather pay the extra premium and know my butt is covered than all of a sudden I've got monster bills that I can't pay because I'm being sued for something that could easily be avoided by having that uninsured.
Now, what happened, Super Dave? Since you've pulled people over, for numerous violations, what happens when you find somebody who does not have a driver's license?
Oh God.
The car gets towed. and impounded.
Okay.
And you set them off on the Ankle Express.
Okay. How often, or well, the other thing is, how about all these people that continue driving after they've been, or and I don't know whether their license is taken away because of drunken driving or driving under impaired conditions.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Basically, if their license has been revoked for multiple DWIs or canceled because of medical issues, or diabetics, they have to provide, and epileptics have to provide a signed letter from the doctor saying their medication is covering them or controlling their episodes, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't keep that record up with the state of Minnesota, well, then they become canceled, inimical to public safety. That's the canceled IPS. And basically, again, you tow the car, impound it, and send them off. Got to walk home. Sorry. You are not allowed to be driving in the state of Minnesota. Multiple DWIs happens all the time.
Really?
They drive with, they'll go pick up a $300 car off a Craigslist or something and register it in somebody else's name, and off they go. Drive till they get caught drinking again.
That is amazing. What is the world? I saw the United States record one time for the guy who had the most DUI arrests, and it was a ton.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even remember the number, but it was a big. This guy had been busted for DUI. I don't know how
25
many
times or something.
Like 25 times. Yeah, it was that much.
30.
30?
Yes.
30 times.
Jerry Zeller from South Dakota.
How do you get up past like 5? Like, after a while, like I'm sorry, you don't get to drive anymore.
Well, see, part of the problem with that goes to, all right, well, he's paid his debt to society. He understands. He goes through, he does all the little things that the state says that he has to do.
Mhm.
Treatment and alcohol assessments. They just lie their way through that stuff. And then they, like I say, pick up a $300 car and away they go.
God, it's amazing. The only problem I have with that is there are people, the scammiest people on earth, who could well afford to pay their insurance. They just won't do it because they know they're covered by me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
People like me.
Yeah, it's mostly there are definitely a segment of the population where if you give them something for free, they're like, well, no, I don't ever have to pay for this again because I
Absolutely.
Yep. Whatever my XYZ paid for by somebody else.
I just think it's bad business that I should. So I pay $500 for myself and I pay $500 for you.
Yep.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
My rates shouldn't go up then if I get in an accident for somebody else.
No, 100% they shouldn't, but it's not how business works, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not buying any insurance company stocks. That's for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
That's the end of it.
I'm not buying any insurance company stocks. Now, of course, somebody say, well, what about United Healthcare? That's an insurance company stock. Well, I missed on that one. They've made a lot of money for a lot of people.
But no, that's health insurance, so that's different than auto insurance, correct?
That is different, but the cost of health insurance is through the roof, and you still are paying insurance not only for you, but you're covering other people,
okay,
as well as part of that.
So you get the drunk. You get the drunk who doesn't want to take care of himself and ends up getting diabetes and everything else, and then
that's included in my insurance, or no, but or I got upset because my Medicare insurance went up.
Oh,
why did it go up? Because Tom's insurance probably went up as well. We're making too much money.
Yeah, that's it. If you make money in America, you're going to get hammered. There's no doubt about that.
And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, because I've made money, I have to pay for your Medicare insurance now. I've been paying into Medicare for a
Yep.
long time, and now I have to pay more for Medicare insurance because I'm making money. Okay, that was a new one on me.
I mean, isn't that a bad message to send to people? Don't worry about paying your rent. Don't worry about paying your car insurance. Don't worry about this. Don't worry. You're telling them basically to sit on their fat ass and contribute nothing because somehow you'll be taken care
Well,
of.
yeah, that's what they want. Is they want people to be helpless, because if someone is helpless, then they have no choice but to vote for you over and
I
over
suppose.
forever.
It's all about money, isn't it? It's all about me being elected and making even more money. I just still love the fact that these people become billionaires now while they're in office, supposedly serving the people. Okay. That's all I have to say is okay. But yeah, if you went through, Josh, and you know more about this than I would ever know, if you went through how much you pay for food, how much you pay for gas, how much you pay for insurance, your house payment, real estate insurance, I guess is a better way to put it. How much of our income is actually taken away to support other people who won't contribute a nickel? I bet you it's 25% of what you make goes to
Easily.
somebody else. Easily, right?
Easily.
Yeah,
Jesus.
but there are certain things. We live in a society where we want good roads, we want good schools,
Sure, sure.
we're paying. We want protection from the bad guys and from fire. Uh,
That's fine.
we want good sewers, so you're we're all pitching in through our property taxes, for that.
Mm-hmm.
But we might be pitching in a little bit more. Some people get upset. Geez, I'm paying a lot more for services than I'm getting back.
Right.
That in the form of my state tax or federal income tax. Certain taxes, everybody gets. I'll say state and federal taxes. People get very upset about. Oh, I'm paying way too much for that. And there are, of course, others that say, "Hey, I'm doing well. I'm very happy to pay these taxes um, because I have the ability in the United States to do things that I wouldn't have had the ability in other countries to do." Um, but at the same time, there was when I started in business, I was told, that there was this judge, I think in the 1940s. His name was Learned Hand.
Oh, his real name?
Learned Hand. Judge
Really?
Learned Hand. And
Okay.
he's one of his um, big deals is that um, you have a legal obligation to pay the least amount of taxes legally that you can.
Right. Looking back at this, and I'm going to get more wound up. Luckily, we only have about 13, 14 minutes left in the show because I'm getting more pissed off as the show goes along. Because I just remember, like,
Taste of love. Just remember, taste of love. Just keep that in your head.
yeah, I will do that. I absolutely will. And I won't even say what is, Democrat, Republican, but a president of the United States decided in the 1960s that if you were going to collect welfare, Dad couldn't live in the house with you. That had to be one of the
Aid to
dumbest.
families with dependent children.
That's correct. AFDC it was called. Uh, why you ever thought, well, why don't we do this? They're on the dole now. We're just shoveling money their way. So why don't we make sure that the dad's out of the house so they'll never make money again? because it was back in the day when a lot of women stayed home to take care of their children, not as much as doing that. That's going on now, but I've never understood if my family needs to go on welfare for 6 months, Dad can't live with us. How does that help?
Well, I think I'll say the genesis of that idea came from that president's, um, some say, upbringing, or the area in Texas that he
That's correct.
lived in, where there were, we'll say, a lot of um, lower income people, where the dads had, I'm not going to say had disappeared, but had gone elsewhere to work.
Yeah.
And he wanted to make sure that those people had enough money, I'll say, to subsist. I don't believe it was, hey, let's come up with an idea where the dads were going to stay away. Although once that law came in, it changed the family dynamic in a
Yes.
lot of lower income
Yep.
um, households, where it was, hey, if the dad is not around, we're going to be able to collect extra money from the government.
Right.
And in certain neighborhoods, not only did that destroyed the family unit,
Mm-hmm.
it gave permission to men that they did not have to shoulder any responsibility
Right.
for fathering children.
It's just unbelievably stupid. Amazingly stupid.
Right. And on top of that, it gave, um, I'll say, women started saying, oh, the more kids I have
Yep.
out of wedlock, the more money that's going to come in. And if you notice that seems to happen more in, certain, um, I'll say, certain areas of the country, and among
Right.
certain populations of the country, more than elsewhere.
And
Uh,
yep.
I mean, if you take now, this goes a little beyond that. I think the Vikings had a running back at one time who had, was it, 5 or 6 different children through 5 or 6 different women,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and did not support any of them. I think that's or minimal support. How did these women get along, because they were never married?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think it was like 6 or 7 kids. I still remember his name too.
Well, since I'm not uh, a Vikings football fanatic.
Right.
I enjoy the Vikings. I enjoy the watching the Eagles. I enjoyed watching the Super Bowl this year. Um, I lost a bet to you, Tom, on the Super Bowl, so I'm going to have to cover that bet,
Yes,
taking you and
absolutely.
Catherine out to dinner.
That sounds good.
We have a question from our listener, Jim.
Okay.
He would like to know what retirees should do with their 401ks.
Ooh. Give Josh a call. That's what you should do.
Well,
That,
yes,
that's
I'm
what you
sure.
should do.
Yeah.
Well, this I'd have to even throw this back. In terms of your 401k, if you retire from a company that has a 401k, and I will make this, if you're working for a company that has a 401k, which allows you to put away a nice chunk of money on a pre-tax basis, and many companies will add a contribution for you, please do it. Put away money to the maximum in that 401k, and of all the investment choices that you have, take the most aggressive, which in many cases is put the money in an S&P index fund. On the flip side, when you retire, you have a choice of leaving the money in that 401k and taking whatever or continuing any choices that you have. And when you need to take money out for income, you can take it out any number of ways, either on a monthly basis, or you can annuitize it. I again recommend do not annuitize it. Or if you don't want to leave it with the company, you can put that into a rollover IRA so that you do not have to pay tax on the sum that you're pulling out. Because if you take that money out of that 401k as cash, you're going to have to pay a substantial amount of taxes.
Right.
So you would roll that over into a rollover IRA. And if you roll that over into a rollover IRA, that could be in a self-directed IRA, which I recommend, where you can invest that money in individual stocks or in mutual funds, and that gives you a little bit more control of the money. Should you need income, there are different ways that you can generate income from your IRA. That can come from dividends that are paid out from any dividend paying stocks, or it could be from a strategy that I learned from one of my investment heroes back in 1980, John Templeton of the who ran the Templeton funds, and he said to me, and it's a strategy that I've used since then, and it works very well. It's called a systematic withdrawal, where you're selling off a portion of your growth on a monthly basis, and that'll generate income to you. I have found that you can take out a withdrawal, excuse me, up to we'll say 10% from that, and as long as you don't withdraw more than the given amount, even with all the ups and downs that have happened in the marketplace, you should do very well for a long period of time. So I've recommended to people to roll the money over, invest that into stocks or stock-oriented mutual funds, set up a systematic withdrawal to generate the income to help fund your retirement.
All right, we got one more listener question for Josh.
All right.
He says, as an Eagles fan, how do you feel about Santa?
Oh, whoever this guy is must have been in Philadelphia at the time the Boo Birds started the Eagles were not doing well. Santa came out. It's a Christmas game and got pelted by snowballs and other objects. And it was very upsetting to see. It's Santa, for gosh sakes. It's Santa.
Yeah,
You
Santa
treat
got
Santa
pelted.
with respect. Santa's always going to bring you something good, unless you've been bad, and then you get a lump of coal. And in Philadelphia, a lump of coal is going to generate a little bit of heat. So having a lump of coal or several lumps of coal in Christmas, not so bad.
Well, there you go. A hell of a wrap up to the show today. I love the fact that we talked about all these things, because I don't know that people really know. They look and go, where's all my money going? If you look at it, a lot of where your money's going with your taxes is to support people that won't get off their ass and support themselves. It's unbelievable that we have gotten to that point in this society. Look, I don't want to see anybody starving in the streets, but I also want to see people just sitting around on their ass, not willing to work, even though they're full-bodied, able, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You've seen well, I'm not. That's another story about the tents that these people live in.
Mm-hmm.
Those are awful expensive tents.
They're very expensive, and we are paying for those too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's I remember it was 2 summers ago, there was every like outdoor store was sold out of these super expensive tents because organizations were going around and buying them all and then giving them to people so they could live in outside. It was wild.
which I like to see people being helped out, but look, something good has to come from it. It just can't continue to go on and on and on with no resolution. Right?
Correct.
Amen.
All right, Josh, what's that number of people who reach out to you and ask you person to person what they should do?
You're going to ask me about the Eagles and and Santa Claus.
Yes, exactly.
I like that. That was great. Definitely an Eagles fan. 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. You always get straight talk, not sugar-coated advice.
And he's my guy, so I'm telling you, he should be your guy too. We'll talk to you next week. Have a magnificent weekend. Thanks, fellas.
Talk to you.